But this is so helpful. I want to ask another question just to help everybody here in our audience. What is one of the things that you advise people to not do when networking? Because I think people get really confused when they're creatives, whether it's a networking event or film festivals. But what do you advise people to not do when networking?
There's a long list of things not to do. One of the things that frustrates me, and I don't understand why people do this, is when they come up to me or come up to a colleague or friend and they shove their business card. I don't know you. Who are you? I don't care about the business card. Yes, the business card is important, in terms of exchanging information, but it's not, I'm not looking to collect business. I have thousands of business cards, and what'll end up happening is that your card will end in that pile or it'll go in the trash because I don't, I'm not going to go and do all my research on you. You should be giving me a great first impression of who you are. Like, why should I know you? Why do I want to engage with you? So that's probably my biggest pet peeve, is just someone coming up and just giving me a business card, or just introducing themselves and asking me their names and giving their business card and then going to the next person. It's like they're trying to give out 100 business cards that night. And, you're going to reach 100 people, but there's no quality interaction. So that's probably my biggest pet peeve. My second pet peeve is when you give someone a handshake and they give you this little soft, like wet, clammy handshake. And it's just, I mean, yes, everyone will be nervous, or you can be nervous, which is fine, but you could tell a lot by a person by their handshake. Like, hold, a grip and shake well. And I think it also helps to look someone in the eyes. If you can't look me in the eye, then I feel that, wait, you're not trustworthy, or you have something to hide, or are you a con artist? And, it's also a level of confidence when you have a nice grip and you can look someone in the eye. That goes a long way. You don't need to break their hand, but a nice firm grip. This is someone to be, okay, reckoned with. Okay, they have personality, they have perseverance. Like, I have all these things going through my head, when I feel that, like, okay. So that's my second, pet peeve. And one of the things that I tell my team members, this is not really a pet peeve, but in terms of quality, I'd say that if I am in a room with thousands of people, there's no way I'm going to talk to all those people. So what I like to do is I come up with a game plan in my head of how I'm going to interact. If there is thousands of people, I am going to sit back and watch the room. I'm going to watch the room to figure out who everybody's going to, whoever has the loudest mouth, I'm probably not going to go talk to them, because it's all ego. They're trying to prove something, like, I feel that when you're successful and accomplished, most of the time, not all the time, but most of the time, you have nothing to prove. So you're going to just kind of hang back and people are going to come to you. So that's usually what I do if I go to an environment I'm completely not familiar with. I just watch, again, the body language, 80% of that. And the other thing that I may do is I'll find whoever is running the event or the organizers and ask them, who's in charge? What's going on? What is this all about? Who do you recommend that I speak to in this room? There's 1,000 or thousands of people, and then they'll maybe give me some names, or maybe they'll point people out. And then if they give me the names, I'll look them up, do my background, do a little bit of research. If they point them out, I'll try to get their names. If I can't get their names, then I'll maybe huddle around people talking to them and try to hear their name, or I'll ask someone that's next to them, what is their name? And I'll do my research. So I go in there with a little bit of intelligence, and that gives me a little upper, hand. And at that point, I have to decide, if I'm in an event with this many people, what is my goal? Am I looking to meet with 2 or 3 people that can get it done? And I'll spend majority of my time doing that. If I'm really, not sure about that, then I'll, I have a rule, a 5 minute gap rule where I say I'll speak to someone for 5 minutes, like a quality 5 minute conversation. Maybe I go to 7, maybe I dumb it down to 3. And then I'll kind of like work the room in that sense. Now, if it's a smaller event that's, 20 people or less, it's intimate, I could probably speak to everyone there, and usually a lot of times at events, you would be in a group setting where there's 3 or 4 people and everyone kind of talks. And I make it a point, which really stands out, is to remember their first name. I don't have to remember their full name, but their first name. It goes a long way, because what do people love? What word do people remember the most? Their first name. So that's another tactic that I do, that I got from my dear friend Dale Carnegie, who wrote How to Win Friends and Influence People, one of my favorite books and go-tos.
I love that so much. And I think it is that idea of walking in with intelligence. I know before I go to any event, I always prepare myself in advance. I actually rehearse, practicing, introducing myself, my projects. I keep a note card in my pocket to remind me of my goal of the night and also the types of people that I need to meet for my different projects. And because I am actually not an extrovert, what I normally do is I take a deep breath and I look for the quiet people in the corner. And for me, as somebody who's more actually an introvert at networking events, knowing that I have to go because I do, actually also how I met Rampus is that I'm going to go find some quiet people in the corner and then work the room. So I think these are some nice tips of what not to do and some ideas of what to do so you can start building that investor pool, getting to decision makers, getting better jobs for yourself, and also seeing your projects made. Thank you so much, Rampus.
Thank you for having me.